Yeah, I mean, when I evaluated myself and my staff, when we evaluated the match, we felt first half we were very good in terms of executing our attacking plan. Obviously, we created a lot of chances. We scored 2 goals. We probably should have scored 3 or 4, but we were extremely dangerous playing in transition. That was always the plan. We were disappointed, obviously, to give up the 2 goals. Um, one was a counter with a ball behind. It's something we talk about all the time. The other one was a set piece corner kick. It was the first corner kick goal we had given up on the year. We've had 24 corner kicks, so by and large, we've been very good on set pieces this year. On that play in particular, we needed to attack the ball better. But we felt overall the half was good. The response, obviously, to come back, the chances we created, the execution as a whole, minus the 2 defensive plays. Second half, we felt like we tried to force at times the counter too much. That decision making of when to go and break and when to kind of put our foot on the ball and pull the ball back. We felt we gave the ball away too much. There's no secret we're very good in transition. We're one of the best, I think, counterattacking teams in the league. But we felt we relied on that a bit too much in the second half, and it led to us losing the ball and led to us defending deeper with a lower block for longer periods than we wanted to. In saying that, with all the possession that Columbus had, we were very organized, and they did not create and penetrate very much, with the exception of the 2 crosses, one in the 80th minute, the goal that happened in the 85th minute. We didn't get broken down. So we felt like even though we didn't create a lot, we could have made better decisions in possession. We still were very organized, and we didn't allow Columbus to create many chances, with the exception of the 2 crosses. And so the final takeaway is we have to do better in those 2 situations, certainly in the one that led to the goal. And if we do, we get out of there with a point on the road, with a few guys out, and we would have felt good about that result. But definitely, second half needed to be better in possession, decision making, and on all 3 goals, we have to do better. And looking at New England and how they play, that leads into some themes for us to work on this week defensively, and on the attacking side, again, making sure that we definitely look for opportunities in transition to exploit teams, because we're extremely dangerous in that regard. That's a weapon for us, but we have to make better decisions on when to keep the ball, rest on the ball, and stay in control and possession at times.
Caleb, on the offseason, one of the initiatives you talked about was improving production from the wide positions. 4 games in, what's your assessment?
Yeah, I think good. You look at Asprilla, obviously coming in the game, scoring a great goal 4 minutes in. Like I said, when you look at kind of the plan going into the game, a plan each game has to be based on your personnel, the opponent, conditions. We knew we had a couple of our best possession players out of the lineup. And really, when you look at probably our best 3 passing players, Ridgewell, Guzman, and Nagbe, and you look at Columbus being one of the best possession teams in the league, we didn't feel like it was a game where we're going to dominate possession. And we knew that they would open up and try to attack, and they'd have a lot of the ball. So, the plan was to use transition and counter, and we executed on that side of things very well in that first half, and that first goal came from exactly that. Second goal was more of a dead ball that we played quick, but it's still transition. And like I said, there are 3-4 other chances. One where we hit the post, Valeri. Asprilla got in on another situation. Breakaway, should have scored. Adi as well one other time. So we were very effective at exploiting that, and a lot of that came from the wingers. So really pleased that Asprilla steps in and gets a goal, and Blanco obviously set up the goal and played that final ball. So whether it's goals or assists, we need those guys chipping in, and we feel like, with Nagbe and Blanco, they haven't scored yet, but they've been chipping in assists. Asprilla getting a goal, and just looking at our overall depth, we feel good about what we're getting out of our wingers this year.
Yeah, I'm just interested if the last couple of years seems like you played during the international breaks when a lot of teams haven't. Is that your choice? Is that luck as well?
Yeah, well, you have the choice. You can play through all the international windows. You can play through none of them, or you can play through some of them. And you make those decisions to start the year. You don't get to choose necessarily which breaks you play in. And obviously, ideally, you don't want to, if you're playing in a break, be on the road. But last year, we played, or we didn't play through, we played through one break. We felt like it really compacted our schedule. We had a lot of 3 games in 7-8 day windows, and we felt like that didn't help us, especially as you get into the summer, and it made it difficult. So the choice this year was to play through a couple, and then not play through the rest. And when you look at our schedule, while we one of the teams that play in this window, as you look at the schedule as it moves on, we have very few compacted windows. So like I said, it's not a perfect science where you can just pick exactly what you want. But when you put in what you want to, or how you want to approach it, you can choose to play in some and not play in some. You just don't get to pick which ones. So this one kind of fell at a tough time because we already have a couple injuries. But I think it'll pay off as the season goes on, because there's only one other window that we have to play in.
You mentioned Asprilla. He talked about coming back this year and how much he wanted to do that, and how he feels like his mentality is in the right place now. What have you seen from him this year coming back?
A lot of hunger, great attitude, wants to be here. That was a big part of bringing him back, is he wanted to come back. We thought long and hard about that decision. We knew from purely a soccer standpoint that he had the skill set to play in our system and to make an impact. But it's always important, the attitude of the player, and it's important that they're bought in and that they want to be here. And we knew in talking to him and gauging his mentality, that he would come in with hunger and would come in having already been here, so the transition would be minimal. He knew us, we knew him, he knows our system, he knows Portland, he knows most of the players. And like I said, he brings a skill set that is different than what we have in some of the other wingers. With Nagbe out, we obviously had a decision to make. We could keep Blanco on the right, or and play Maddox, or go with Asprilla and shift Blanco over. And we just felt on the road with what he brings defensively, and knowing that it was going to be a counter-attacking game, knowing they're a very good team on the left side with Francis getting forward. We just felt it was the right fit, and it was also why we signed Blanco, because we knew he could play right or left. So it gives us a lot of flexibility, but Spree's been great. He's working hard, and I think when you look at, he's been patient. I think he's learned, you have to be patient. It's not just going to be handed to you. There are other good players, and for him to keep the right attitude through not playing, working hard, and just staying ready, and then obviously he repaid our faith in going with him by scoring the goal, and probably almost scoring another one.
For you, you said you thought long and hard. You guys, the staff, thought long and hard about the decision. Why is it important for you to be open to giving players second chances in situations like this, and how nice is it for you to see that he's making the most of this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I love all my players, all of them. as long as they want to be in this club. Then I'll go to war with these guys. But if they don't want to be in this club and do the right things and contribute in the way we need them to contribute, then it's not a good fit for players to be here. That's really important. But I'm always open-minded. I don't hold grudges, but I have to be honest and fair to everyone, and I don't play favorites. I know what I want in each position, and I know what it takes, and you have to be bought into those things. If you're not, then it's, like I said, not going to work out, and it's not going to be a good fit in this club. So my point is with Esprit, the talent's always been there, but players don't always, I think, grasp the importance of playing a role and the importance of buying into what we need to win games. And he's grasping that now, and you're seeing what we thought we'd see right off the bat. And he's going to be a great fit for us. He's going to be a guy that contributes in this league. We knew he was built for MLS with his athleticism, his size, his airplay, his directness. He's right-sided. He brings width. And so I think he'll just continue to get better and better. He defends. So in bringing him back, the only question was, mentality, and we knew that'd be the case because he wanted to come back.
And on another note, Adi and Valeri are obviously approaching the Timbers' all-time records in goals and assists. Adi tied that all-time record in Columbus. Can you just talk about those guys that obviously, since they've come in, they've just been hugely important for the attack, and what it means to have two players kind of making history with the team?
Yeah, it's great, obviously, that they're reaching those standards. I mean, when you look at a guy like John Bain and what he accomplished, and for those guys to be in that category, and when you look at the fact that, we expect Adi and Valeri to be here, for quite some time more. So it's exciting. It's a great milestone for, I think, them as individual players, but also for the club and what we're continuing to accomplish. So I'm really happy for Adi and Valeri, and obviously these guys will go down as two of the best players in the history of this club, no doubt.
Do you have an injury update on Vitas and Ridgewell?
Yeah, Vitas still day to day. He's progressing, So we've had a good week with him and Ridgewell. Ridgewell's still a bit behind Vitas. Vitas could be tight for this game. We'll see, but he had a good day today. He did some stuff on the pitch. Might be in training Friday, and then we got to figure out fitness-wise after having 3.5 weeks off if he's capable of stepping in. It's always trickier with defenders because you don't want to sub a defender out of a game, so it's a little bit tougher decision. They have to be 90 minutes ready, but he's also a fit guy, and he's only been out 3.5 weeks, so we'll see. We'll evaluate him Friday, Saturday, see where he's at, and obviously make a decision. And then Ridgewell has progressed as well, but looking again unlikely for this weekend. But we're hoping, here in the next several weeks.
Caleb, can you just talk about New England? They're coming out with a big win, probably full confidence.
Yeah.
What challenges do they present?
They're a very good attacking team, and they've kind of flown under the radar. But when you look at them on paper, and you look at them last game, what they were capable of doing, with that talent, I think they're a tough matchup, because when you look at Juan Agudelo and you look at Kai Kamara and Lee Win and Kellen Rowe and Diego Fagundes, everybody talks about everybody's front, 5-6. People have talked a lot about our front 5-6 as being. I look at that front five and they got to be in the conversation, because Kai Kamara, as everybody knows, is one of the best goal scorers in this league. Juan Agudelo has been off and on national team guy. I coached him with the U23s. He looks like he's in really good form right now. Lee Wynn's one of the best, kind of creative playmakers in the league. And Kellen Rowe and Fagundes are really talented, technical, winger types. But, with this diamond they're playing, it reminds me a lot of kind of Salt Lake a couple years ago when they had that rolling, a lot of interchanging, a lot of movement. So we got to be mindful of that. And I also think on the other side of the ball, when you win it, you can find opportunities too. And we will look to do that. And it's important that we try to be on the front foot, being that we're at home. But we have to respect their attack because they've got a very good attacking group.
When you plan for games against Eastern Conference team, is there any difference? Obviously, a loss, getting them 3 points doesn't really impact you the way it would against a Western Conference rival. Does that factor in the equation at all when you get ready for these games?
Yeah, maybe you gamble a little bit more, especially this stage in the season. Obviously, when you gets to the end of the year and you're playing Western Conference opponents, things are shaking out. You don't want to be given, those are 6-point swings. You don't want to be giving 3 points to a team that maybe could take your spot, in the playoffs or in a seed. But I think our mindset at this stage in the season is the same, regardless if we're playing Eastern or Western or home or away. But we do have to look at always each game as it comes. But we're trying to get 3 points every game. And you do that by hopefully putting out a team that has enough to create chances and score goals, by putting out a team that has enough to defend and stop the opponent. So you always have to be balanced. But when it's level, being at home, do you risk a little bit more to get those 3 points at the end? Probably. So those are maybe the decisions where it comes in when you're subbing. If it's level, we're at home, we're going to push to try to win and get 3 points. But not at the sacrifice of losing a point. But I would say, those are the little decisions that you make as a coach in the second half of games. In the Crew game, with the way it was going, like I said, we would have taken a point because, it wasn't our best day in terms of attacking in the second half. You could see the flow, the way it was going. I thought maybe we could steal a goal, but the chances and the way the flow was going didn't leave me with that belief. So you hope to get out of the game with a point based on how it's going. And honestly, with the way the chances were going for them, I never felt they were going to score because I didn't feel threatened at all. And so you have to smell a game, a soccer game in the second half. And those are the decisions of subs for me, how you gamble or how you risk to try to get the 3. And so, yeah, we're going for 3. We're going for 3, whether it's level, whether we're behind. A draw or a loss is never good enough at home, whether it's a Western Conference or Eastern Conference opponent.
Yeah, and just checking, will Nagby and Guzman be back in training Friday, Saturday? What's their status?
Yeah, so they obviously played yesterday. Nagby played 68 minutes. Guzman played 45. They travel back today. They'll both be in Portland tonight. We have a day off tomorrow, so that kind of works in line with everybody. Friday they come in. It's a light load for us, game day -2. But with them, we probably do even a little bit less because they played Tuesday. But with Guzman especially, he didn't play 90 minutes in either one of the games. Nagby is the one that we really need to be careful with. But playing 68 helps, and it's a Tuesday to Sunday window, so it's not too tight. We're assuming both will be available, and no reason to believe either one will have any residual carryover from a Tuesday match.
Last one.
Caleb, you guys have, when you had your starting lineup on opening day, you have players representing, I think, 10 different countries. It's a very international group this year, and the chemistry's been worked really well. How do you, as a coach, help meld together such an international team?
Yeah, good question. I mean, that's the art of it, the art of, leadership and management, and the finesse of, coach is, um, being able to take those individual qualities and talents and don't take that away from them, because for me that's what makes each player unique. But they also have to fit into a team to win games, and you have to get guys in sync with each other, and that's a daily process. I enjoy that. I enjoy having guys from different cultures. I enjoy having a group of guys that aren't robots, that they're all different and they all, think differently and like different things, different musics, different hairstyles, everything. They're all different. And I try to get to know those unique things about each and every one of them. But in terms of that chemistry and how you build it, it's important that they realize that they are an individual piece, but they need to be, when they take the field, playing together and on the same page and fighting for each other. So I think that's where you see the differences in teams, is the chemistry. And it's not easy, ever. These guys aren't, like I said, they're not robots. They're the human beings. They have emotion. And so for me, that's what I think I bring to the table more than anything, is being able to manage that and put it together, and to hopefully on game day through the week and developing that chemistry, put a group together that's in harmony and looks cohesive and is organized and all on the same page, even though they are from many different countries and have many different motivations. But I've always felt having guys from different cultures and countries adds to the, kind of the spice of the team. I think that's a good thing. But that's also why I can't lead them the same way, each guy, because they're all a little bit different. And I also like to put little partnerships together as well. So when you start to put that together, I mean, so we have almost like a group of twos everywhere. We have a couple Colombians, a couple Jamaicans, a couple Costa Ricans, a couple Argentines. When you start to add that all up, it's kind of interesting, because there's a lot of pairs. That helps with the roommates on the road. So I think it's a good thing.
Do you see in any ways how they're different worldviews, different backgrounds? You mentioned it's kind of nice having those different things, how they're able to bring that into the team, and maybe contribute different things, or that kind of adds to a more kind of just the makeup of the team, gives a different attributes by having players from different cultures.
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, it's a long year, long season. We're together a lot. I'm with my players way more than I'm with my family. As crazy as that sounds, but that's true. And it is a family. It's an extension of my family, and you want that. And on any good team, they should like being around each other, and like learning, kind of from each other, and we get that all the time. Whether it's a meal or whether it's in the locker room, whether it's on the bus, whether it's on the plane, there's a lot of downtime. So you always see the guys, talking about things, whether it's football, whether it's, current events. There was a lot of talk about politics last year, so you'd hear that stuff, and, I won't tell you who's a Trump supporter and who's not, but, but it is interesting. It's great, and it adds to the, like I said, the interest of a team, and the locker room, and the banter. It makes it fun, and this is a really good group, and yet they do, even though they're all different and they have different opinions, they like being around each other, and they like sharing kind of in what's happening, in football and happening in the world. So it's pretty fun. It's a great group. But the toughest thing is getting the music right, because that's the biggest difference. These guys all like way different types of music, and but there's a kind of a mantra we have in the locker room that obviously there are a million different languages, but we need to speak one language, and that's the language of football, you know. And so ultimately, that language has to be the common language. Other than that, you know, they can speak a million different languages and talk about a million different things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But on game day, we got to speak one language.
And I just wanted to ask Diego. Larry said that you kind of gave him like a wheel this year where he's on.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
I can't because of the CBA. No, I have nothing part of it. Yeah, you know, it's an interesting thing with accountability in a team. There has to be accountability always, and that's a big part of culture. Creating a culture is there's responsibility of behavior and actions, and there needs to be accountability when certain things aren't met. And that's a big part of, again, management and leadership is holding guys accountable. I'm not real big on rules. I'm certainly not big on fines, because it's kind of a tricky thing. Again, you look at, you know, these days, the union and all that, you have, you know, you think it'd be easy to do, hold people accountable. It's not. So one of the things we started this year is they spin a wheel. You know, so there's a list that goes on at the end of the week of whether it's they were late, you know, whether they missed a gym session. You know, there's a lot of different things that could put them on the list. And then, you know, the players, not us, the players spin the wheel, and on the wheel they have different fines, and they collect the fines, and at the end of the year, it'll go into something for the team. Nobody wants to give away $10, $15, $20, whatever it is. You know, it's $100 is one spot on the wheel. You know, so it's a little bit of accountability, and yet the players are the ones, you know, policing it. And you know, it's enough, like I said, accountability, but it doesn't go to me, doesn't go to the club, it goes to the team. So it's a way for them to have the you know, police the accountability within the team. Surprisingly, Darlington Nagby is the one that spins the wheel, and he's the treasurer. So I didn't come up with that, they did, but I think you probably can maybe guess why he's the treasurer and why he spins the wheel, because he's probably the guy you trust the most with the team money.
Is it all just money, or Diego said there's stuff like?
Yeah, there's donuts. There's one on there. I mean, they again, the players come up with it. They come up with it. You know, there's a leadership council each week that we meet with, and you know, those are the guys that run it and come up with it. We have no part. We have no part in it. We can't have any part of it, in you know, fines. So it's for them, and they're the ones that do it. But I might give them a few guys to put on the list some weeks. But yeah, there's one. I think one last week was you have to wear a suit and a tie into the training ground.
Oh.
So I think Barnby and Chara got it, or Barnby and Espria. Yeah. So I didn't see it yet. I don't know if they're waiting for Darlington to get back, you know, because he's been gone for a couple weeks now. So yeah, it's been a fun thing.